Hey, what's going on, scholars? It's your professor here, Enlightened Enlisted, and today we are going to be taking a deep dive into an opinion of mine that was reinforced by external events from this weekend. So as you guys know, Enlisted just finished an event with Modern Conflict. In the event, you were able to use modern rifles and modern tanks to fight on the levels of Tunisia. At the time of this video, we do not have the stats of the player-based participation in the event, but given the increase of player participation in Operation Fiery November, we can infer that it was well received. While well received by most of the players, there were others that were pretty aggravated by the event, thinking it was a waste of time for the devs and Enlisted is better focused on the World War II era. Personally, I fall somewhere in between. I agree that this event was fun, but I also think it was unnecessary at this time. I am all for Enlisted spreading its wings and leaving the World War II era in a few years, and I think the devs are looking to do just that. This event was clearly a gauge to see how interested the player base would be in the modern era. But there is an outside force lurking in the background since 2008 that the dev teams should take note of and honestly cancel their plans to going past the Vietnam era with Enlisted. If you are confused what I am talking about, well, there was a game that was released into closed beta testing this week and the internet has been flooded with the content for this game. That game would be World War III. Now, if you don't know what World War III is, well, it is a free-to-play first-person shooter in the modern era. While not only being able to fight as an infantryman, you are able to get into tanks, APCs, and even those four-wheelers we know and love from the battlefield days. You're fighting on maps such as Moscow and Berlin, which gives the player a more realistic battlefield experience. They're even dubbing this game the Battlefield Killer. If you ask me, that sounds like a problem for Enlisted if you're trying to go into the modern era. And this is because Enlisted is designed around campaigns and factions currently, whereas World War III is designed around the individual player unlocks. What I mean by that is in Enlisted, you are designed to get your unlocks based on the campaign and that faction you are currently playing, whereas in World War III, you are designed to get the unlocks around the individual player because you can use those in any game mode. Now, World War III does its grind by making the attachments for those individual guns as unlocks. And attachments are what Modern Conflict is all about. People design their weapons around the mission specific that they're facing. This level of customization is something Enlisted is not prepared to take on. Currently, right now in-game, the only customization you can have for your weapon is to take off a scope in the sniper rifle. Adding customization to weapons in Enlisted, I feel, is going to clutter the UI even more, and I think if they add the attachments as unlocks for the weapons, it's going to make the grind even longer. The gunplay in Enlisted is perfect around the World War II era. Honestly, the gunplay is the biggest selling point of the game in my opinion. But if and when Enlisted does go to the modern era, you're going to have to honestly ask yourself, why would you play Enlisted in the modern era versus World War III? They're both free to play. Many of you would say it's going to be Enlisted superiority when it comes to vehicle combat. With jets, with tanks, that is something that War Thunder specializes in. But to me, that is a terrible position to take, as Enlisted is supposed to be a squad infantry-based game. If you want to fly around and fight in a bunch of modern tanks, then you're better off playing War Thunder. But what do you guys think? Can Enlisted take on World War III in the modern combat era? And would you like to see me do an in-depth review of World War III? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, scholars, hit those books and hit those bottles. Cheers.